All right, we're back here on the Sort of Sports Podcast, episode 142. Quinn Maseko joining me again. Are we doing another one to wrap up after national championship, or are we just done when the tournament's over?
We got two national championship games to talk about. We might as well dissect them,
I think
and
that's what we'll do, and
it'll
then I'll be
just
doing.
it'll be dependent on our schedules, to say the least.
Yes, yes.
Mainly my schedule, because it's always me that's the problem.
It's all right. It's all right. I mean, I did three podcasts this week. Had the April Fool's pod just came out on Tuesday. Wednesday had MLB predictions. And as you pointed out, about a week late to that, I was getting so caught up in March Madness. But the week didn't really change my opinions. And then today we're
I have to
doing March
bring
Madness.
that up that I pointed that out, but thanks
It's
for
all right.
doing
It's
it.
all right. I'll just make sure that the viewers know you keep me honest. So then today we're doing this, and then next week, we'll probably wrap up the national championships, and then I'll be doing NBA playoff predictions. We only got nine more NBA playoff games, and you know for a fact I'm going to be taking my Detroit Pistons to get a win there in the first round.
Yeah, Ryan, you're wearing your Detroit Pistons
Oh
shirt
yeah,
today.
oh yeah.
Ironically.
Everybody's going to get pissed on, man.
Well, between you and Monty Maseko, you guys will be rooting on the old Pistons till
What
the
is
end.
you got to ask your dad what he thinks about my thought process for what the team slogan should be. Get pissed on. I just think it's perfect.
PIST. Oh
O N.
no,
Yeah, PIST space ON. Get pissed on.
pissed on. Okay.
I think it's
I'm,
genius. Why is this not the slogan?
I don't know. I don't even know who the owners are. Can we call them?
I
Who are
don't
the
know.
owners?
I don't know. Who are the owners? Detroit Pistons. This is sad. Big fan,
Somebody.
and I don't even know the owners.
Where's
Detroit
Tony really when you
Pistons
need him?
owner Tom Gores. Oh, he's got hair kind of like mine. I mean, it's not exactly because he's 60, you know, but he's trying to. He's got a little bit of poofy hair. Okay, Tom Gores. All right, Tom Gores. What's up with him? Private equity, headquartered in Beverly Hills. Oh,
It
I
was
don't.
Beverly, guys. He should be in Auburn Hills and not Beverly
Yeah, I
Hills.
was thinking the same thing. Come on. He did graduate. Hey!
Tell us.
Worked as a janitor and telemarketer and his while in university at Michigan State.
Hey,
There you go.
party.
Graduated in 1986 with a bachelor's degree in construction management. And then he moves out to LA, starts working his way up, gets an equity firm, and all these billionaire guys, rest is history. Wow, that's interesting. Um, he bought the Pistons. We bought Palace Sports and Entertainment, which is the parent company of the Detroit Pistons, and he that got them on June 11th, 2011. And he used to only have a 51% stake, and then like his equity firm had 49%. Well, then he just bought his whole equity firm's stake in it. That's pretty interesting.
Pretty interesting. I agree.
All right. Well, he has 27% stake in the LA Chargers. Maybe he has good taste. I like Justin Herbert. There you go. My Detroit Pistons. Hey, the bad
Yeah.
boys are back, getting into fights.
Not
What?
the same.
People are getting all upset about there's people that are like, oh my gosh, this Pistons team, blah, blah, blah. This is fun. All right. Nobody got hurt.
Winning is fun.
What?
You're winning, and
Yeah, no,
that's fun.
winning is fun. No, people were mad about like
I don't
the
know about the
fights.
fights. I don't know anything about the fights.
Oh, there was a scuffle, some players getting suspended a couple games, and I'm like, as long as no one is severely hurt, fans or players, let them go. Let's get a little bit of toughness, let's get a little bit of
Right.
grit. I
Right.
mean, come on. Now, granted, if every team was like this, I get it. But like it's kind of the Pistons mantras. They just got this like, kind of like F you, we are who we are mantra. And I think it's fun. I really like it. It harkens back to the bad boy Pistons, man. That's what everybody
Right.
loves. I got a Detroit Bad Boys hat.
Oh, you do.
I do. A little skull crossbones. It's pretty sweet.
Mm.
It's not
Mm.
crossbones. It's just a skull. I had to think about it. I was like, is there a
The worst thing they ever did was get rid of Rodman.
no, it's crossbones. I had to think about it. Yeah, it's crossbones. Yeah, the hats are pretty sweet.
They should
Detroit
have never
Bad
got
Boys.
rid of, they should have never got rid of Dennis Rodman.
In his defense, the team was declining. It worked out better for him. He ends up dancing around, ends up with the Bulls, and then, that stint with the Bulls, I think, really helped his career. He was already a great defensive player, but I think the reason he's so big culturally to this day, a big part of that is his stint with the Bulls. But anyways, enough about the NBA Q.
Yeah, but hold on before we wrap that up. Who is okay? Wasn't it Rick Mahorn they traded away first?
When they started breaking up the Pistons, like the
Yeah,
core, yeah, because the
after they
core, the
lost
core
next
was
year.
what's up
Next year they lost. So they lost when they lost in '91 in the conference finals.
to MJ, yeah,
Yep. Then they start shipping off Mahorn and all them.
yeah, and
Um,
then it's like because the main core was Mark Aguirre, Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Bill Laimbeer, Rick Mahorn, Dennis Rodman. That's like your main crew.
yep.
Some other guys there too, but that's the main six. All right. Um, Great coach though. I mean, one of the best coaches in NBA history.
Daily.
Yep, one of the best coaches in NBA history, and coached the Dream Team.
See, I was looking right here and I just can't find it. But
What are you looking for?
oh, I was just looking out. I was just looking in the on Wikipedia
Just looking
trying to
about Bad Boy Pistons. It's a
find.
one of
Yeah,
the best 30 for 30s. It's actually the first 30 for
I
30 I
do.
ever
I
watched.
love that 30 for 30.
Awesome. So good.
And really, I mean, between
First
Larry
30
Bird,
for 30 I ever watched. I remember watching it halfway through on cable. I was started watching at the sequence where they'd play Fight the Power to the Pistons like highlight reel.
yep.
Oh my mind is blown. I was like, that's when I was like, this is awesome. This team is awesome. The 30 for 30s are awesome. I watched a ton of 30 30s after that. I watched that in like middle school. Oh my gosh, it blew my mind, Q.
Well, really, between Larry Bird and Isaiah Thomas, they prevented Michael Jordan. It took him 8 seasons
Yeah, man.
to win an NBA championship.
And not
So
all those obviously were the Pistons, but I think he could have made it in 89 and 90 if it wasn't for Detroit.
for the Pistons, yeah,
So
yeah.
maybe he could have been a 7 or 8 time champ.
Don't bring that up because you know I'm not a big Michael Jordan fan.
I know it's kind of sacrilege that I believe
It's
very heavily in
It
Michael
was
Jordan,
Magic's
and I
league
and I
before
like the
him.
Pistons. What?
It's Magic's league before him.
And Bird, and Bird.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that Bird wasn't as successful as Magic.
Yeah, but Magic had a significantly better team. I'm
Okay,
saying Magic Johnson gets to play with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
the
Literally the Kevin
Celtics had
McHale.
Robert Parrish and Bill
Yeah,
Walton
okay, they are not as good as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
combined. Okay, but
Okay,
also
yeah,
this.
two guys equal one, and he had James Worthy.
Okay, hold it.
The Showtime Lakers have a better roster than the
Kareem, but
86
this is the
Celtics.
thing. Magic was ascending. Kareem was already 10 years in the league,
I
and Magic
understand that, but
drafted.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar still
He
won
was
Finals
old.
MVP in
Kareem,
1985.
Kareem,
He
who?
was still hooping. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in 1985 is still
I'm not
winning Finals MVP.
disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with that, but he is still, he was in his prime,
I understand
probably
his prime
the
was the
first
70s.
3 years
Yeah,
of, he's probably, that's the end of his prime, the first
that's
3 years.
true. I understand. It's not
And
prime
he was
Kareem. I get that,
declining.
but
He
it's
wasn't as,
still
as prominent.
no, I agree. But Showtime Lakers are a better team overall than the best third
Celtics,
Celtics team is not as good as the best Lakers team. It's just not. They had more depth. They had more talent, dude.
you're just throwing Kevin McHale away, aren't you?
No, I like that Celtics team. I think the 86 Celtics team is the best Celtics team in history. It's the best Celtics team ever assembled. But I think the Showtime Lakers are probably the best Lakers team ever assembled.
Oh, yes, without a doubt.
Like, what do we want to say? What I'm
Without
thinking
a doubt.
probably like, all right, let me think about it. I'm thinking the 19.
Well, hold it. Well,
I
yes.
think the 88 Lakers might be the best one. They went 62 and 20. Okay. Pat Riley's obviously the coach. Let me
Yep.
pull up this roster. See if I can get this going. All right, here we go. We got Kareem, Michael Cooper, AC Green, Magic Johnson, Kurt Rambis, Byron Scott, Michael Thompson, James Worthy. That's your main guys.
Yep.
That's a good team. I mean, right here, points wise, Byron Scott actually led the team in scoring during the regular season.
Really?
But they had what? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven guys in double digits. The 86 Celtics, I'm willing to bet don't have seven guys in double digits.
All right.
That's that is pretty absurd. Um, Magic was third in MVP that year. He was a first team All-NBA. He averaged 19.6 points per game. James Worthy averaged 19.7 points per game. Byron Scott, like I said, putting up 21 a game. Kareem, I will say, at that point, had slowed down. He was averaging 14 a game. But clearly, that's a really good team. So let's pull up now the 1986 Celtics, which is widely considered to be the best Celtics team, or at least the best Bird teams. Team at 67 and 15, coached by Casey Jones, Celtic legend. And this is the team that has Bill Walton as sixth man of the year. He was putting 7 points a game. So here's your main guys here. Bill Walton, Wedman, Ainge, Johnson, Dennis Johnson, Parrish, McHale, and Bird. Bird's averaging 28. McHale's averaging 21.3. Got to give him credit. He was hooping.
Right, he was.
16 from Parrish, 15 from Johnson, 10 from Ainge. So they have one, two, three, four,
Five.
five guys in double digits as opposed to the Lakers, seven. That's a better team. Like I think it's close. It really is close. But I think that is a team where everyone is performing at their highest level. Whereas that Lakers team, as soon as Kareem is descending, you're getting James Worthy getting better every year. People forget James Worthy was really
He was
good.
drafted in 83.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. James Worthy comes in like halfway through the run.
Right. They just couldn't beat Jordan in the finals.
Yeah. Well, they
Fun.
well, in the one time they played. They only played once. It's only 91.
That's right. But then after that, Magic was gone.
Yeah, Magic.
He retired.
Yeah, he's done. But I mean,
That's
he retires with five NBA championships. That's a
yeah.
lot. Like I feel like people don't really bring that up.
That's what I'm saying. Without, Michael Jordan getting six, there's Magic right there at five.
Yeah,
5-3 in the NBA finals. Pretty good.
pretty good.
Pretty good.
Greatest point guard of all time?
Is the competition Oscar Robertson?
I think most people would say the competition is Stephen Curry.
Oh, well then yes, he's way better. Because Steph is a
I
shooter.
struggle. I
Steph is
think
not a
it's
point guard.
Steph.
Steph is a
Steph's a
shooter.
good facilitator. He's a good facilitator.
But it's
He's not Magic. I understand.
not Magic.
Magic is the
Magic.
Magic's the best
Magic.
passer
The
ever.
offense flowed through Magic.
Yeah,
The
I
offense
think
does not
Magic and
flow through
Jokic to
Steph.
me are the two best passers to ever walk the earth. I don't know, man.
Jokic already?
Yes, dude, Jokic is insane. Yes.
I know he's good for a center, but I mean, come on, that's a little early. He's not even
When you
done
you
yet.
didn't watch my video I made. I got a video on TikTok breaking down. Jokic, by some metrics, is like by some advanced statistics, he's technically on paper had some of the greatest seasons of all time. Like it's his efficiency and the level that he brings up in offense is better on paper than anyone ever. Like he's got some crazy numbers, and
Won
when you
two
watch
champion,
him, he's an incredible passer. What's up?
two championships or just
One,
one?
just the one. That's the part that
You have
hurts.
to do more than that. You're gonna
I
have to
know.
do more.
I've actually gone back and forth on if Steph's the best point guard ever. There's part of me that thinks he might be. I think he might need one more chip because then that ties him with Magic for five. Um,
I'm gonna
but
do
I
some.
mean, he's undeniably the greatest shooter ever. There's no question in that. It's just Magic's best passer ever.
Oh no, I will debate that
Steph
too.
is the best shooter ever. It's not even
Nope, I'll
close for me.
debate.
It's okay.
No, because you'll never know. You're never gonna know if
At this
Steph.
point in time, he's better than anyone coming before him.
Hold it. Okay.
He's a better shooter than
You're
anybody before him.
never gonna know between him and Larry Bird who shot
It's
better.
Steph's the best. I'm not. I'm just
Oh
clearing that
no,
up,
no,
man.
no.
I love Larry Bird. He's better than Larry.
What about Pistol Pete?
He's better than Pistol Pete.
Okay, I will give you that.
He's
I
better than
won't give
Pistol
you Larry
Pete.
Bird yet until I can see it with my own eyes.
You gotta watch more. You don't watch enough. I know you
I
don't
do
watch it.
watch. I
Not
do
you don't
see
watch the
things.
Warriors.
I don't watch NBA
I
religiously,
know.
but
Steph's
I've
very
seen
special.
him play.
He's
I've also
nuts.
seen Larry Bird's games, and I
Larry
think
Bird's incredible. The underrated part about Bird now, though, is he was a really good passer. And I think that goes overlooked
Right.
nowadays. He was a really good facilitator. Like
He was.
the whole offense ran through him just like did Magic. Like he was
Exactly. That's what
not
made
not to the
rivalry so
degree of
great.
Magic, of course, but you know,
All right, hold on everything, folks.
what's
Okay.
going on?
Magic, five-time NBA champion, three-time NBA Finals MVP, and don't forget he did it as a rookie.
Quinn, I know the finals. We know this.
Well, the audience might not know. I gotta tell them. They might not know. I'm sure he's probably the only rookie to ever
You're
win
right. You're
the
right.
NBA
You're helping
Finals
the audience.
MVP.
Good call.
Three-time NBA MVP, 12-time All-Star, nine-time first team. Okay, and here
Hmm.
we go. I'm flipping back over. Steph Curry, four-time NBA champion, one NBA Finals MVP,
That's the hard
two
part that hurts.
NBA MVPs,
Yep.
11-time All-Star, only a four-time NBA first teamer. See, there it is. It's right there. That's all I can say. That's it. It's the end of the line.
You
Number
said
two,
nine for Magic.
nine. Nine. He
In
was,
Curry's defense,
hold on.
though, he comes along.
Curry
It
is, I
takes
will,
him about 6 seasons to get going.
Curry was,
He's drafted in '09, and he
yep,
doesn't really become the Steph that we know today until like the 14, 15 range. About
right,
his
right,
fifth.
right.
Whereas Magic, off the rip, was on a team that won the finals, and that's a huge part with it.
He injected more energy into that team to
Well, and
get.
he's the reason the NBA is still around. Him and Larry Bird saved the
Oh
league.
yes, because
They got him and
that
Bird, and then they got Jordan after
yes,
that, and then they were off the races.
yeah.
They didn't.
If
They
it
didn't.
wasn't for the Bird Magic rivalry, the NBA would have been in the gutter.
Yeah. That's why people are comparing the Clark Reese thing to them because they've made the WNBA thing. Like WNBA's existed for a long time. It's 25 years old, but
Right.
they've made it culturally relevant.
Yes, they've elevated it.
Yeah.
Okay, Steph is four-time.
And now we're getting the watershed because we're getting Beckers and we're getting Juju and we're gonna get all these.
Right. It's gonna
Yeah,
keep going.
keep going.
Steph, four-time first team, four-time second team, two-time third team. Now, Magic is nine-time first team, one-time second team. They must have never had third teams back then.
No, no, they didn't.
There you go. So that's the comparison. So
Good point,
obviously
man.
nine times
I can't. I
first
now.
team,
I mean
and it wasn't. It's not just nine. It's nine straight. It's nine straight.
yeah, it's impressive. To
So
me, I think Curry is undeniably the greatest shooter of all time. I don't think it's a question for me. The point guard thing, he is either one or two. I think a lot of people my
this is
age and a lot of people our age would say Curry won. You have a lot of respect for the classics, and I can appreciate that. I think I'll still put Magic one. I will, but Curry's two.
Can Bernie get in here? Bernie wants to get in on this.
Okay, okay.
If you don't know what I'm referencing, folks, CNN debate 5 years ago. Bernie's always trying to get in, raising his finger. But anyway, this is what it is. This is what separates the two. Magic, four-time NBA assists leader, 4 seasons, 2 seasons as the NBA steals leader. Steph, just one time as the steals leader. That's it. That's the separation. I think
What about the scoring?
if you are point guards aren't for scoring. Point
They
guards are
can
for
be though.
facilitating. They
Come
could
on.
be, but they're for facilitating. They are not for scoring. So that's what I'm saying.
Positionless basketball now,
That
Q.
what?
Positionless basketball now, Q.
Well, I don't. I disagree with that. So there you go. Okay, if you're big, you should be a center and get your ass down the block. Sorry,
Jokic scores from all over the court.
I know he does. He plays inside out.
He does. He's incredible.
So that's the thing. You can play that way. It's just that you can't just. If it's positionless basketball, then I guess Steph Curry should might as well just be doing the jump balls.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
positionless, not sizeless, is the way I should say. Size
Hmm.
still matters in the NBA, but
What
I think
she said. But anyway,
the positionless, I think, goes to. I don't think anymore it's where you're a big guy, don't worry about shooting threes. Like everyone, it's kind of been homogenized. Like everyone is expected to be able to play perimeter defense and shoot threes. That's the way everyone's built right now in the NBA. And you know
yeah.
why everybody has to shoot so many threes in the NBA now?
Why?
Because Steph Curry was the one who changed the league by shooting so
Yeah,
many.
I'm not saying he
I do.
didn't.
I think that's the biggest argument for him is the team he was on in 2015 and 2016 completely The reason basketball is being played the way it is right now, you can track it back to the 2015 2016 Warriors.
Yeah.
I mean, that team
Yes.
won 67
It's
games, I think, in
evolved.
2015, and then
Yeah.
they won 73 in 2016. And everybody went, wait a minute, if I can shoot 40% from three, it's better than shooting 50% from two for 100 possessions.
Right. You shoot 40% from
Like if
three.
you were going to shoot 100 shots a game, right? And you
Right.
shot 100
Well, it's
threes and you
120
shot
points.
40%, 120, that's better than
Right.
shooting
It's
50%.
20. It's plus 20. It's
Yeah.
plus 20. It's a net 20 points.
Yeah. And I think once the NBA figured out that, like, wait a minute, three's more than two, which just, if we can volumize and we can be at a high enough percentage, that's where you've got to where you are
Right, you
now.
learned that in kindergarten that three was more than two.
It took a lot of professionals a long time. It's like the Yankees guy who figured out that if you make the thick part of the bat hit the ball, all of a sudden it goes farther.
Oh, George Costanza?
Yeah,
But
man. Hey, the torpedo bats came from an MIT guy. I mean, I could have
I
told him
know.
that.
I think they should be outlawed.
I
It's
think it's
illegal.
fun. I think it's fun. You know what I say? You know what I say, Q? Let the pitchers have the juice back and let the players have the big bats. Let the pitchers put whatever they want, put the pine tar, let them do whatever the hell they want. And then let the players get the bats out. Let's see who the real men
Bring
are.
back the spitballs like
Oh
Gaylord
yeah. Let the
Perry,
pitchers use the pine
Bill
tar.
Lee.
Let them do whatever the
Yeah.
hell they want with it. But then the players, they
Well,
get a bat. It's like
not
let's
everything.
see. It's spin versus barrel instead of speed versus vision. And I think
Mm.
that's quite special. That could be fun.
Mm.
Whole new ball game and Ryan Klinger's America.
Oh, only in America. But
Yeah, no, all the other leagues for baseball, they can do whatever the hell they want. But in America's pastime, damn it, plus the
it's
Blue
America's
Jays, we're
pastime.
we're doing this.
It is America's pastime. Yeah.
I'd like
Well,
for it to be its future, but I was honestly a little down on that MLB predictions pod. I'm just not as amped for the MLB season as I sometimes am. The torpedo bats have intrigued me, though, I must admit.
yeah.
How you feeling
Well,
about old Tear Bear in
Tito,
Cincinnati? Yeah, how you feeling about
I
Tito?
love Tito. And
I'm excited
well,
for you guys.
first of all, I will say this. Before every game, because I will say to our viewers out there that I don't watch baseball on TV. I listen to the radio. I listen to the commentary.
But baseball is also like built for radio. It
It
is
is
perfect for
because it
radio.
was, yes, and it's also the oldest sport, so it's been
Yeah.
being broadcast over radio for 156 years.
Well, it's worked perfectly. The breaks are built in perfectly. It's very descriptive. Like if you ever listen to football or
Yes.
basketball on the radio, it's not the ideal way to do it.
Now, see, basketball is actually too much for radio because there's too much
I think
action.
football, it's you're essentially just being read
Football,
the plays too. It's all
right?
informational. Ball is here, who caught it, what happened, what type of play. When you don't see it, it's basically just like taking information in. Whereas a
Right.
baseball, it's so descriptive, where it's balls out in left field. Well, that could mean a billion places. You got to describe to me where in left field it went.
Exactly. You
Whereas in
gotta say,
football, you say 40-yard line and know where you're at. There's not a lot of description there.
right. You just gotta say what side of the floor, which 40 are you.
Exactly. So
That's it.
baseball, I think, is built for the radio.
Yeah,
But
because
continue what you're saying.
if it's hitting left center, is it rolling all the way to the gap or is it cut off by the fielder? Is it,
Exactly.
was it a fly ball or was it a line drive? All those things that have to be figured out as well. But my point I was getting to was is that, every time in the pregame, they always talk to the manager every day. That's what the local media does, the own media of the organizations. Every team does that. So then, uh, it's time to, it's so like we come back. So there's always, we chat with Red's manager, Terry Francona, next, right after this. So then we come back and I was just, sometimes I just say it along and it's, and Tommy Thrall goes, now it's time to talk to Red's manager. And I just rolled right off the tongue, David Bell. And I thought, oh shit, it's not David Bell, it's Terry
No, no,
Francona.
no.
So, yep. So then he just went in and asked Tito his questions and all that. But I'm happy for now. I'm not happy with offense tonight because you lost 1-0. But it's early. Season's early. That's their reason they play all 162. It's not
Oh, yeah.
decided in five.
That's what I
So
kind of love about baseball is it's in that perfect spot where the NFL every game feels like a big deal because it is, right?
yeah,
18 weeks, 17 games, it matters. And in baseball, you lose three straight and you're like, we got to turn it around. And it's like it just becomes like a part of your day. Like, hey, how'd my team do today? Like baseball is one of those, I think it is the most, I don't know. I think NBA out of the big three is the one that you can very easily watch without having like a strong tie to a team. And you just be like, oh, this is gonna be a good game. I want to watch these guys. I think baseball and football, due to the nature of the one, every game is so important. In the other one, every game feels like I don't know. It's like checking in with a friend with baseball. Like you just it becomes habit, right? Like you
Mhm.
just want to see the game, you want to put it on, you want to listen to it, like however you interact with it, and then you want to talk to your friends. Ah, man, with baseball, a lot of times your baseball talks aren't really this most analytical either. Like it's usually just like, man, we need to get the bats out. You get like where it's not like with football where you're like, I think they should do this or blah 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 blah. Like because with baseball, at the end of the day, like it's usually just like, well, hell, if we hit better, we'd win. You know what I mean? Like.
Right. Or if we
And
pitched better, they wouldn't have scored as many.
exactly. Like with baseball, it's usually the analysis, at least for most fans, is pretty simple. I mean, obviously there's much deeper analysis to be had, but baseball still has this like old-timey, it's your team and you check in on them every day, and I just that's what I really enjoy about baseball. I think that's what makes it special. And I think that's why it will, I think, really continue to be popular. I don't think it'll ever really dip as much as some people are afraid it will because I think it has something other sports don't.
Hmm.
Do you agree with that, Q?
With baseball being that popular,
I know with like the way people interact with it differently than most sports.
oh, I won't disagree with that. It's
Like I think a lot of people like
it's a different atmosphere because
yeah,
when you go, I mean, let's say you go to a game in person,
yeah.
okay? It's not the same as you going to an NFL game
No,
at all
no.
because there's not as much energy, I would say.
I think at
Um,
certain moments it has a ton of energy.
it does, it
But
does, it
through
does.
as far as
It's on the
consistency.
press. Yes, but it doesn't, but it's not, and it's not constant action either. I mean, yes, the ball is being pitched, but it's not where, okay, we've got people running down the court, this is happening, rebound, plays, all those things. That's just not, it's different. And I think, as we've already referred it to as America's pastime with the sport, it's something about going to the baseball stadium where it's more of a, I don't know, it feels like a family outing. We're going out to the ball game today. We're going to sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game. If it's Sunday, you're getting God Bless America too. You're going to get yourself a glizzy, and then you're going to go and, if you don't know what that means, it's a hot dog, folks. And then, and then you might grab some Cracker Jacks and a beer, and that's it. And that's what you're gonna do is
You got
you're
the
gonna
guy, you
enjoy.
got to get it from the guy who's screaming ice cold beer. That's how you
That's
got to get
right.
there.
That's right. When they come right down, those vendors. So that's the thing is I think it's just I agree with you on the point that yes, people are gonna interact with it differently because it's just not and it's the summer because the other sports are, yes, you start out football in the technical summer, it transitions to fall quickly, but weather-wise, things are shifting. All that's that also I think affects also how you interact with in the environment that you are with the
Well, and
sport.
I think the other thing is with baseball, and you talk about that going, it's my favorite to go to out of the like, it's my favorite professional sport to go see live. And I really like if you were like, let's go to a G League game, I'd be like, no, like I don't want to go to a G League game. Like I really don't. Maybe is Frank Mason playing? Like some of the college guys I really like maybe I'm interested. But like for the most part, I'm not gonna go to like some random G League game. I love going to minor league baseball games, even if I know nobody there. Like I don't care because I think to your point about the experience aspect, it feels like a family outing. I
Yep.
think the reason baseball works so well is I go to like a shit NBA game or a shit NFL game. I'm like, man, that blew. But if I go to like a shit baseball game, I probably still had a good time walking around the park, sitting down. Ballpark food is always kind of fun. Um, like I think there's just something about it. It's kind of like going to the movies. And I've always said, I think I've told you about this before. If there's a
Love going.
movie that I want to see, I love seeing it in theaters because I think seeing a movie in theaters brings it up a level. And I've seen some shit movies in theaters. And like there's a movie like Genevieve really wants to see, but I'm not really that interested in. I
Right.
actually want to go see it in the theater because I'm like, at least I go to the theater, I'm gonna be sitting in my seat, I'm gonna be having a popcorn,
Ambiance.
yeah, I'll enjoy like this experience of it. Whereas if you're watching a shit movie at home, then you start looking at your phone, you know what I mean? Like, and
You get all
it's
the home distractions coming on.
exactly. You can try to distract yourself. And I know that sounds dumb, but like you have no option but to engross yourself in the movie if you go to the movies. And I think it makes every movie, even the bad ones, better And I think the drive there and the drive back is part of the
Oh,
experience, like talking about the movie. That's why I really think the movie theater is special. I think baseball is that same way. Like just the act of being there brings it up to something special. I don't think NBA or NFL has that. Like I think when I go to an NFL or an NBA game, I'm like, it was cool because I was there. That's what's neat about it. I mean, it's fun to turn and high five people on a big shot or on a big touchdown. But like you go to a baseball game, your team gets blasted. And even then, I probably still had a decent time. I don't know what it is. There's just something about it.
well, I'm gonna do a.
You want to
We
talk again?
we should move on, and I'm gonna.
Why is that? Why do you want to move on so bad?
I don't want to move on so bad, but we probably should talk about the tournament.
We should. We should.
But I wanted to, I had 2 points to make. First one is that I just looked up what's playing at the Marion Movie Theater. And if you want to catch starting this Friday, The Chosen Last Supper Part 2, you're welcome to do that. 3 hours. So that sounds like a daunting task. You talk about watching bad movies, Brian.
I've heard actually Chosen's really good.
The Chosen?
The Chosen, yeah, that's what you said. The Chosen Last Supper, right?
Yeah, but isn't it religious?
Yeah, but it's apparently really good. It's like one of the few like Christian movies that's like really well done. Those are hard to get right, and apparently those are excellent. Like it's based off of the show that's mid. Yeah, no, Quinn, I'm serious. Like I've heard nothing but great things about that.
Well, Google's not working right now because it won't even load.
I'm telling you right now, like The Chosen has been a show. It's ran for a couple of years, and it's apparently like a really good adaptation of the Bible. It's very like true to the text, and then they decided to make a movie, and it's apparently really good. Like people go like really like that. Like it's apparently really good. I've never watched it, but I've actually. Christian media is usually not well done, like for most of the time. I think it's true for most religious media. Like it's hard to get a good representation. You know what I mean? Because the themes mean so much to so many people. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Right.
I mean, like obviously there's some big ones. I think The Prince of Egypt is excellently well done. I think that's a great movie.
Cartoon?
Yeah, that movie's awesome.
Well, yeah, it is, but I didn't think it was that religious.
Well, I mean, it's based off the story of Moses.
Oh, well, I will say
To me, that's a religious story. It's in the Bible.
not seen the movie. I will
Okay,
admit.
it's about Moses.
I know the movie's good.
Really good.
Okay. Obviously, When You Believe
Yeah,
is a banger.
yeah.
Okay.
Actually, my favorite song from there is The Plagues.
I
It's
thought it
Ralph
was
Fiennes and singing. It's
about
awesome.
Moses.
Yeah,
I thought it was about Passover with the Israelites escaping Egypt.
yeah. That Moses is doing that.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, Moses
Wait,
leads him out.
he did?
Yeah, you got to refresh yourself. You got to read more Exodus, man.
All right.
No,
I
Moses. So Moses
I
leads
gotta put
the
Exodus on
Israelites
the
out.
list to read.
Separate podcast. Ryan Klinger revitalizes Quinn's faith.
Oh, you don't need to do that. No, 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 no. They've already had this first, second, and third revival. I don't need a fourth one. Thank you. I go to church every
I think
week.
Pastor Adams is subscribed, so
Well, he'll know that I
he'll,
did not
if he's
know
disappointed at somebody's Exodus knowledge.
Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt.
Yeah, he parts the sea, parts the
Yeah,
Red
but I
Sea.
didn't think that was with that part.
That's all that the plagues and everything. Yeah, that's
I
all
didn't
that.
know that was all together. The
All
parts
it's a
of the Red
big
Sea and
story.
the plagues. I thought this was just
No, yeah, it's all together.
relieving.
You should watch Prince of Egypt. It's really good. It's
I
really well
will
done.
watch them.
Really
Yes.
well done.
Yeah.
Star-studded voice cast. Excellent. And it's hilarious to think that 3 years later, the same studio turned around and made Shrek. Two movies that I love, but just wildly different movies.
Wildly different.
But
Yeah.
yeah, apparently The Chosen's good. So I mean, if you're a Christian person and you want to go
Oh,
see
Sandra
that,
Bullock's in. Look at this. Val Kilmer
I
was
know I've seen it. It's
Moses.
awesome.
Okay.
Val Kilmer, Ralph Fiennes, Jeff Goldblum, Sandra Bullock. Who else?
Ralph Fiennes.
Yep,
Say,
yep, yep.
you said Michelle Pfeiffer.
Nope. There you go.
How about Jeff Goldblum?
Yeah, I said him. I said him. It's a hell of a
Patrick
cast.
Stewart.
Who?
Patrick Stewart.
Oh yes.
Helen Mirren.
Yep.
Steve Martin. And
Yep.
Martin Short.
An
Yep.
absurd cast.
Yes. Yes.
Quality.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So, all right. So, okay. So Moses. Okay. Moses led the
Led the Israelites
it's out
out.
of led it out of Egypt. Okay. I'm so glad I learned that today. I didn't think he was doing the leading. I figured they were just going. So
Yeah,
that's
burning bush and all that. It's all in that story.
that's oh, that's the whole story. That's
It's a
all in one.
lot. It's a
It's all
lot. It's a
there.
lot there,
Okay.
man.
Well,
It's a big story. A lot of
I will
important
say
pieces.
this. I mean, if you watched the previous episodes and I was here before in the big sound, we did the Lower Jeopardy things. I always said some of my weakest categories were, well, first was literature. Sorry, Molly.
Yeah. My
Art.
mom being the English teacher is disappointed.
Yep. And Bible. I was always terrible in Bible. I was better in general religion than I was in Bible.
Really? That's
So
interesting.
yes, because Bible is just so specific, for what they're going for with the clues. But general religion, as in, what books and some traditions and those types of things for comparative religions, I can get through there. But so I've learned that today. I also want to say there's one correction that I have to give. Magic Johnson was 5-4 in the finals, not 5-3. So, because he lost to 76ers.
83. Yep. And then he
Yep,
loses the bird twice or once.
I already lost it already.
He loses damn. No, sorry, he loses the bird once. They beat Bird. No, I know his four losses. It's Sixers, Celtics, Pistons, Bulls. We're good.
Yes, that's
I
what it
still
is.
got it, baby.
Yep,
Still got it.
yep, which I knew the last two. So why did I not just say yes, Quinn? Yes, that makes four. But yeah.
I had to
Anyway,
think about it. I was like, no, he can't lose to Bird twice. I was like,
no, you
no, because
can't.
they bested Bird.
Yes, he beat them.
Man, your claim that Magic over Bird might be correct, I must admit.
The claim was Magic over Curry, not the Magic over
Oh,
Bird.
we were talking about we kind of started. Sorry. I thought we were also talking about that. My bad. We got all over the place.
You already know Magic's better than Bird, and I'm
Yeah, he
biased.
is. He
Michigan
is.
State. Number two,
I just love the hick from French Lick,
yes, I know.
but Magic is better. Magic is
Larry
better.
is very relatable, but
I
I
love
think
Magic though. I
I made
think
the point.
honestly, if we're being honest, I'm probably more like Magic than I am Larry, like personality wise.
Well, Magic's
Larry's very business, and he's a trash talker.
so is Magic.
Magic's more of like a goofball.
When
You've never watched the Larry Bird
goofball,
Magic Johnson
what
HBO
what
doc?
goofball owns part of the Dodgers and part of the Commanders?
He enjoyed being a celebrity. He liked
He
chatting
did.
it up. He was smooth and saying,
Yes.
that's,
Yes.
I think most people would be like, yeah, I don't know if Ryan, I'm not really a trash talker, nor am I really down to business. Say it. Just saying.
I can't. I have
You
not.
you need to watch HBO did an excellent Magic Bird doc in 2010. You should watch it. It's really good.
Yeah, but what's it called?
I think it's literally Magic vs. Bird. If you go to HBO right now, which I'm doing right now, do you see they rebranded it now? Like now Max is black
Yeah,
and
now it's the
white.
black. It's the
Which
black.
why not just make it look like HBO again?
I like the
Whatever.
black.
I like the black too. It should just say HBO, not Max, but whatever. Magic and Bird, A Courtship of Rivals, 2010. It's
Yep,
excellent.
that's the one that was based on, I believe, Jackie McMullen's book.
Yes, it is. She did a good
Mhm.
job. She's
Yep.
in it. She gets interviewed. She did
Yeah,
excellent work.
she wrote her book that was called When the Game Was Ours.
Yep.
So,
I actually thought about buying that before.
which I do enjoy um the 30 for 30 with with the whole Celtics Lakers rivalry. I
No,
mean,
yeah, it's a good one. But I think this is really special. My only thing with the 30 for 30 on it, it's obviously really well done, but like I care most about the Magic Bird piece. And that's nothing against, I mean, Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain are obviously great. Same thing with Kobe and KG.
right, but I'm
But
with
like the
you.
piece everyone cares about the most is that.
Yes.
I actually need to get on and watch Celtic City, the new HBO doc they're doing about the Celtics that Bill Simmons runs. As a big Bill Simmons guy, I got to support. But all right, we want to do March Madness. We want to switch. We want to talk Final Four.
I
We-
mean, if that's
let's
what we're
let's
supposed to be
start
doing.
men's. Let's
I
start
mean, is
men's.
that what we're supposed to be doing? I don't even know anymore.
I mean, whatever, man. It's sort of sports podcast. We were doing sports. We were just all over the place. All right.
I just want to say that Ice Cube and Donnie Wahlberg were the ones narrating that 30 for 30.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Good choices. Okay.
Go
So
ahead.
for the first time since 2008, it's all one seeds, baby.
All one.
I always make fun of the analysts that are like, well, I just had to go with the all number one seeds. They're the best teams because they're always wrong. And sadly, this year they were correct. So we got Duke and Houston and Auburn versus Florida. Quinny, what'd you think of Chalk Madness so far?
Well, obviously, I'm a little upset my little Sparties didn't make it out this Sunday.
I was
But
disappointed too.
I will say the left side of the bracket is way more interesting because those two, as in Auburn and Florida, had the closest games over the weekend.
That Texas Tech Florida game was really good.
Exactly. Because Duke was practically a blowout. And I should not say that way. Duke was one of those games, Duke, Alabama was one of those games where it was enough of a cushion that it didn't feel like a game, but not enough of a cushion to leave Alabama in the dust. So they were kind of in there the whole time. Obviously, Houston, Tennessee, that was just utter destruction for most of the game. Tennessee tried to get back within 10 at one point, and it did not work out too well. So um, isn't this how it's supposed to go though? It's how that's why the games are played, but the brackets are set up for the number one seeds, the best teams out of each region to make it to the final four to face off for a chance to play and then win a national championship. So in the end, the committee this shows the committee got it right when it came to setting up the bracket. And um I believe I did not. On the left side, I had Michigan State St. John's playing in the Final Four. Between Florida and Auburn, I think I'm going to take Florida because who knows how good Mr. Broom, sweeper, is going to be.
Wait, I
Because,
do want to say before we do your picks,
hey, go ahead.
I actually think we had a lot of good games in the Elite Eight and Sweet 16. I think it's just
Oh,
the teams that happened to win were the one seeds, so it like made it less exciting.
right,
Because
right.
like Houston Purdue was a really good game. I mean, I was watching that one; that was a good game, but Houston won, so it was like I'm like, oh yeah. And then Duke Arizona was a good game, but then Duke won. Michigan Auburn, you look at the final score, 78-65. It was close.
Close.
It was really close. That's just because of free throws at the end. That was a good game. Ole Miss Michigan State, really good game. Really good game. Auburn Michigan State, good game. Um, Texas Tech Arkansas obviously was good, and Florida Texas Tech was one of the best games of the whole tournament. It's just the fact that the one seeds were the ones prevented. Because let's say alternate universe, right? Michigan wins. We get Michigan State, Michigan. Um, let's say Arkansas beats Tech, we get Florida. Arkansas would say Purdue wins. Like these are all games that the other team could have won. I think people were less, and us included, kind of like, "Ugh," because it just happened to be that all the one seeds managed to escape these close games. And I think just the nature of it, you're obviously going to have years where you see a lot of upsets. You're going to have years you don't. And I don't. I think we're getting an overreaction where people are like, "Oh, what's the NIL and the transfer portal?" I'm like, okay, well, 2 years ago when we had all these upsets, it's because the NIL and the transfer portal were doing it. Now that we're not getting upsets, it's because the NIL and the transfer portal. And you can't have it both ways. You get what I mean?
But I think what the point of it is that it's now evolved where it's not it's not I shouldn't say mediocre, that's not the right word, but it's not, let's call them let's call them B list players, your 6 man, 7 man from bigger, good, consistent programs going to mid majors. Now it's the best players of the mid majors going to those programs and making them better. So that's what has evolved now with the transfer portal instead of where we thought it was going to be more equitable because of how the landscape was changing with recruiting and all that. Now, instead, it's actually making more
Just
of
went the
a
reverse way.
step up instead, where these kids, not kids, but young adults, both men and women, are starting off at maybe junior college. If not, a worst case, maybe a very small D1, and they might flip and get to a decent program and then finally get to a great program by the time they've ended their 4 or 5 years, depending if they had to redshirt or not in their college career. And that's what's happened now. And if you're not happy about something that's going on in your current team, you are going to leave and going to change that. So, you look at, excuse me, Haley Van Lith, who was in a great program at Louisville and left and went to LSU. Wasn't a good fit for 1 year. Then went to TCU this year. They made the Elite Eight and still was able to find success.
She's gonna be going to the WNBA.
What
She's gonna be going to the WNBA.
she is, yep, because she
She's
is now
good.
graduating with her master's degree this year. So, um, but at the end of the day, that's what has happened is that it's going to continually. That's how the process is going to be. So essentially, it's going to be harder to have those Cinderellas, I think, because you're not going to have as many mid majors are going to have caliber players to be able to do that.
I wouldn't overreact yet. I think you're definitely right, but I would like to, if this continues on for a couple more seasons, I think it would be definitive. You know what I mean? I don't want to take 1 year as the word of God. Does that make sense?
Oh, I agree, but you told me about Moses tonight, so I think I might have to
It's
take
true.
a rain check on that comment.
True, true. Poor choice of words by me.
But
All right, so you were going into your picks though. So you got Auburn, Florida, you got Florida?
taking Florida,
Me too.
the
I
sweep
think
is
Florida
special.
Florida has been special this whole tournament. It feels like out of all the one seeds, they're the ones that have been tested the most. They're the ones that have seemed the most beatable. But I kind of like that. Like I kind of like that. It always seems they like manage to escape danger. And I think whenever that happens, there's two arguments. There's the they can't keep escaping danger or team of destiny. I think it's
Mhm.
team of destiny. I think Walter Clayton Jr. is just on an absurd run right now.
Yep. Well,
And
it was there when they scored 15 points in the last 2 minutes.
yeah, he's really on a special run. And I think his team's special. And Auburn has been the one seed that I actually think has looked the worst in the last two games. I think
They
Michigan State and Michigan exposed a lot of issues with Auburn, and they managed to escape. And you're like, okay, well, you could argue the same thing
room.
with Florida, but I
If
I, I want to say I think Florida to me has risen up, whereas Auburn, it's like they just kind of escaped. I know they're both were in close games, but to me, one felt different than the other. Does that sound crazy?
doesn't sound crazy, and if Mr. Broom it has to be locked up in the linen closet because he got injured in the Elite Eight, it's going to be hard
Yeah.
for Auburn to win because he does a lot. He does a lot of saving possessions for them, rebounding wise and scores,
Yep.
and because he had a double double in the first halves of each of the last two games,
Yep.
so that's going to be how it is, and we'll see what they do, but. I think I'm gonna put my faith right now in the Gators and see what they if they can. I mean, this is the first. I mean, I believe the last time they probably played for the national championship was when they won the national
In
championship.
08? No, oh
No,
08. Sorry, 07, right?
2007. They were back to back.
Back to back.
2006, seven.
And they got a younger coach too.
They do. Yes, I believe from BYU. No, St. Mary's. From St. Mary's.
Yeah, and he was with Auburn for a period,
I don't know about that.
right? Wasn't he with
I don't know what his name is. I had to look up Florida
I think he was with Auburn for a period. Check me on that, but I think he was.
coach. Todd Golden's his name. He was with Auburn 14 to 16.
So he was with,
He graduated from St.
yep.
Mary's in 2008.
So he was with their current coach. He was with Pearl.
Bruce Pro.
I like Pearl. You gotta give props to him because I think if they would have lost within the first two rounds of this tournament, which I don't think they were going to, but if they would have, I think there would have been some talk of like Pearl on the hot seat because, you know, they were number one
On
seed
the
with
hot
Jabari
seat.
Smith.
You can't be on the hot seat when you have resurrected this program.
I know that, Quinn, but I
Actions like
do want to state I mean, they made a Final Four in 2019, and then last couple of years they've been a top seed and just haven't got it done. I mean, they were a number one seed that year, Jabari Smith. What, they lose in the Sweet 16, right? You had them win the whole thing, 2022.
yeah, Sweet 16. Yeah,
Yeah,
this
and
is
they
the
lost
first
Sweet
in
16.
the Elite
Like they
Eight.
had taken some kind of early tournament loss.
They
I
did
don't think
make
he would
a
have been fired or anything, but I think it would have been like, Brucey, you always have a good team, but you lose early on, earlier at least than we expect you to as a one seed. And it would have been twice now. He was the number one seed and lost kind of early. And so I guess I give credit to him because he has made this program something, a program that, before him was really one of the bottom in the
nothing.
SEC. It was nothing program.
It's Charles Barkley was there.
Yeah. And even with Charles Barkley, they never made the Final Four.
No, they never did. The
No.
first Final Four they made was in 2019.
Yeah, that
So
was a
that's
fun
what.
team.
In also, personal professional credit to Bruce Pearl, who resurrected his career after getting forced out of Tennessee for all those
Yeah.
violations that were brought upon them by the NCAA. So
Quick aside, did you see Nate Oates might leave Alabama?
never even heard of it.
There is talk that he has become frustrated with how all the NIL money is siphoned to the football program, and he's thinking about going to Maryland.
Really? He's not going to Maryland. They've already announced their coach.
Oh, well, that
Buzz
report I saw
Williams.
yesterday must now be gone.
Buzz Williams is going to Maryland.
Okay, good tip. Well, maybe he's not leaving Alabama then. I actually like Maryland kind of becoming a good program. I think they're fun.
Maryland?
Yeah,
They've been a good program.
yeah, but I'm saying like you're right. They've been a good program, but I mean kind of more
Say a more
consistent.
consistent program.
Yes.
That would be
They're
better.
kind of becoming like how Illinois is. Like Illinois,
Right.
Michigan is such an interesting
But they
school to me
weren't.
because Michigan pre the 90s was really a kind of a nothing program. And then they get the Fab Five, and then pretty much ever since then they've been a basketball. Like they've been good at basketball.
Yep.
I mean,
All those wins were vacated.
yep. But like Beeline had a good teams for a period there. Juwan Howard had good teams there in the early 2020s, and now I think they're going to be good for a long time under Dusty May. Like I think we're probably going to see Michigan in the Final Four within the next couple of years. Big
Yeah.
Ten's got a lot of basketballs. Ohio State's like one of the bottom programs right now in Big Ten basketball. And I like Diebler. I do. And they just got Gabe Cupps to transfer from Indiana. But it's just weird if I would have told you, like, hey, some of your worst teams in Big Ten basketball are Indiana and Ohio State. You'd have been like, really?
Not surprised in Ohio State, not a basketball school, but Indiana, yes.
But I mean, Ohio State basketball for a long time was a big damn deal, though. I mean, first ever March Madness, they are in the national championship, lost to Oregon. Jerry Lucas went to Ohio State.
I know
John
Jerry.
Havlicek.
I know, but that was 60 years ago. More
I
than,
understand that, but I am saying Notre Dame football is also carried by its legacy.
but it's got a more storied legacy than Ohio State
I
men's.
understand. I'm just saying I don't think
You start winning one for the
Ohio State
Gipper.
basketball is a decent brand.
When you start winning one for the Gipper at Ohio State men's basketball,
Then
call me.
it's a different thing.
All right.
I guess I'm trying to think who was dead last in the Big Ten basketball this year. I gotta think about this. Was it
Who
Ohio
was
State?
dead last?
Mm-hmm. Oh my, Washington. Yeah, I should have thought about that.
Yes, they were awful. Yeah.
Washington, Penn State, Minnesota, USC.
Yeah. US USC's at the bottom.
Yeah, 7 and 13.
Oh, poor Eric Musselman.
That's what I was thinking. I like Musselman.
I do
And
too.
then Northwestern, Iowa, Nebraska, Rutgers, Ohio State. But nobody was really blasted other than Penn State and Washington. 6 wins for Penn State, four for Washington. But yeah, I mean, you look at the Big Ten though anymore. Like your top conferences last 10 years have been Purdue, Wisconsin. I'm not counting UCLA and USC yet because I'm saying they just
I-
got there. I'm saying it's been Purdue, Wisconsin, and then Michigan State and Michigan. And then I'd say after that, probably on the come up is Illinois and Maryland. Maryland on obviously men's and women's. So
Yes, women's more consistent. I
yeah.
mean, since Brenda Freeze has been there since
Mhm.
2002,
Yeah.
Maryland women have been
But I
pretty
like
good.
I like what Illinois has done. They've really become something, and I think we'll see them probably within the next 10 years get a pretty big recruit and maybe get to the Final Four. I mean,
Yeah,
I
they're
think it's
on the
interesting.
upward swing. I mean, the last time they were I mean, they're not at the level of where they were under Bruce Weber when he was,
In the 2000s, yeah, when they
in
won. What they
the
won 03
I don't
in
think they
that
had
range.
the championship, but they made it to the championship and lost to North Carolina.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yep, sorry they
2005,
lost.
what it was.
You
And
know what
that's
school I would love to see good at
Weber that
basketball
took over.
again? Because you don't talk about a historic program, Syracuse.
Yep, ever since Boeheim left.
Hmm.
It's been down, and obviously that's your worst fear ever if when Tom for the Michigan State fan when Tom Izzo retires, you hope that doesn't happen to your program.
That's why I
But
give Michigan credit is, I mean, they've kind of been good. I mean, Howard, I thought was pretty, I mean, Howard obviously ended up having all those issues and they got rid of Howard. But I'm saying Michigan's done a good job of kind of maintaining success. I mean, as much as I don't want to, praise Duke too much, they did a really good job with that against Shire.
the
Like,
transition,
a
yes.
really good transition. And I honestly don't think UNC's transition has been that bad either.
No, they won the championship.
No, they didn't.
They lost the championship.
Yeah, they lost the championship. They lost to Kansas. Think about it. It's Kansas.
It was Kansas.
Yeah,
It was?
yeah, it's Kansas.
Okay. Can't remember.
Yep, yep, yep. I was like Kansas team that was just kind of like everybody was like, oh yeah, I guess they're good. I don't know. 2021 and 2022 were weird because it was like Baylor and Kansas weren't like bad, but no one was like mind blown by them. And then I was like, oh shit, they won.
Yeah. It's kind of a sobering fact.
Yeah, UConn was kind of like that in 23. UConn in 24, everybody saw coming. That was like, you know. But anyways, um, yeah, I have Florida winning too, for what it's worth. I have Florida going national championship. Do you want to look at the other side of the bracket? We got Duke, Houston.
Hold
What?
on.
What?
Okay, so when North Carolina went to
And 2022 is Coach K's last year. They beat them in the Final
yep, they
Four.
beat him in the Final Four. Okay, that year before, I didn't know that Walker Kessler played one season in North Carolina before he transferred to Auburn.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. So there you go. So that happened after Roy Williams retired. So that's interesting. Okay. Other side of the bracket, I will say. So it's Duke, Houston.
I got Duke. Proctor coming alive was a piece of this team
Mhm.
that like they didn't even need, and now they have. Like he really was not that good the whole season if you look at the numbers, and now he's like exploded, and he has just been cooking for Duke.
Mhm.
And Cooper Flag is obviously. I need to say something really quick about Cooper Flag.
Oh boy.
Back in the fall, I stated his pro comp is Scottie Pippen with a better jump shot. And I still think it's a pretty good pro comp. But I must state that I said I was a little concerned. Could he be the number one option on a team, or was he destined to be an elite two man, essentially, like the second best player in a championship team?
Right.
I have been so thoroughly impressed with him throughout March Madness. And it's honestly not really the basketball things. It's the getting poked in the eye and just kind of brushing it off. He did a lot of guys anymore would make that a big deal, right? I was like, oh, I could, kind of like when LeBron got poked in the eye that time. He's like, oh, I saw three rims. I shot for the middle one. Like he make it a big frenzy, make it a big story. He didn't do that. He just kind of brushed it off and kept playing.
Right.
The whole injury thing, once again, he just kind of brushed it off and kept playing. He's so like you. This is so like I don't know how to say it. The reason I've been so impressed with him is basically non-basketball reasons, which is the fact that it's so clear that he really wants to be great. I know that sounds dumb. That's not really a real basketball take. That's like I'm essentially just saying shit, but like I'm saying I feel like when I watch him, like this dude really desperately wants to be good. And every interview I see, everything like he does that's like non-basketball related impresses me. I just have like full faith that this guy like is like a freak in the gym. Like he just like locks in and works like 110%. And that's really impressed me. And so I'm fully in on Cooper Flag. I fully believe now that he can be that guy for an NBA team, and that if you get him number one overall, that he will be face to your franchise material. And the Washington Wizards need to redesign their uniforms because they can have a potential generational uniform here with Cooper Flag. Like people will be buying Cooper Flag jerseys. Also, if he goes to the Wizards, the American flag, Captain America. I mean, it all writes itself, right? Quick thing though, Q. There is a chance the Chicago Bulls get Cooper Flag. I think it would be so fun if the Chicago Bulls got Cooper Flag because it's the NBA is better when I truly think the NBA is better when the Knicks and the Bulls and the Celtics and the Lakers are good. And they can't all be good at once now, but it's fun when some of those fan bases have it because those are your largest fan bases, and it's fun. I think the Bulls not being good for so long, I think is sad. I think the Knicks, you see it right now with the Knicks. It's fun that the Knicks are pretty good. It just adds a new layer that's fun. I get tired of the Lakers being good, but I cannot deny it brings more interest to the NBA. Like more people talking about the NBA now because Luka being with the Lakers. Um, and so yeah, I would like to see the Chicago Bulls get Cooper Flag. Now, granted, they have some of the lowest odds to get the number one pick. I understand this, but it would
Yep,
be really fun.
Cavs. The Cavs had the lowest odds sometimes, and there they were shooting right up out of there.
True.
They're
And
big.
I do kind of believe the NBA might rig the draft lottery. I have thought that for a while. So,
It
Adam
is
Silver,
rigged.
just rig it for the Bulls, baby.
It
Give them
is
their next
rigged
big star.
because isn't it? Is it okay? Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay,
Yeah, what's up?
but if you have the worst record, don't you get more bingo balls in there compared to the person with the second
Yeah,
worst
yeah,
record?
yeah, yeah. But
You
not
still
anymore. They changed it so it's like actually the fourth best record. It's a whole thing now, but basically, yes.
okay. So there, yeah. So it's kind of rigged already.
It's I think I don't know. I think it's sometimes it just worked out a little too perfect, let's say, right? Victor Wembanyama going to one of the best run organizations the last 20 years for one of the top prospects, in NBA history with like a legendary coach. I just feel like that worked out a little too perfect.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
you
guess
knew for a
what?
fact they didn't want Victor Wembanyama going to the Hornets. You know what
We
I
know
mean? Like they what?
the Spurs are in the gutter anyway. So what's it
Now they're
matter?
on the come up. They'll be fine. They'll be fine.
31 and 43.
Yeah, Wemby's hurt, dude.
I didn't know Wemby was hurt.
Yeah, see, I know you don't keep up with it, and that's
I
fine.
don't.
It's
I
fine.
don't.
I know what I'm saying. The Spurs will next season. I mean, I think by next season, Victor Wembanyama might be the best player in the NBA. I think there's a chance we're talking about that next year, which is absurd. It'll be his third season, but he'll
Right.
be Defensive Player of the Year next year. He would have been this year, didn't get hurt, and I think by this time next year, there's a chance he's genuinely the best player in the league. I mean, who he'd have to beat out is Jokic, Giannis, um, Luka, SGA, and then obviously like you go down like LeBron Curry, and I think it's very plausible that he makes the jump to being on the SGA, Luka, Giannis, Jokic level, and then can he be the best one? I think there's a real conversation that we could be having in 2026, potentially, well, potentially 2026, most likely by 2027. I think he's best player in the NBA, which is absurd. But anyways, the Cooper Flag piece, I'm fully in on Cooper Flag, and I have Duke beating Houston. That team has been exceptional.
Now, those fan bases again were Celtics, Knicks, Bulls, Lakers.
Yep,
Only one of those teams are bad this year.
I know. That's why I want the
But
Bulls to get Cooper Flag. We can have them all good.
Bulls, even for being bad, they're going to make the play-in tournament. They're 5 games ahead of the 11 seed.
That team's bad, dude. There's not a lot going on there.
But
They've got a
still,
couple bright spots, but for the most
somewhat
part, it's rough.
they were close to the playoffs,
The
closer
the
still.
thing is with them, they're in the tough spot of like they're not bad enough to go anywhere.
How did the 76ers so bad?
Paul George got hurt, Joel Embiid got hurt,
Okay, that's what I figured.
Tyrese Maxey got hurt, Jared McCann got hurt.
Yep, can't win.
Just all fell apart with
Weird
the
McCann
injuries.
got hurt because it's all over TikTok.
Now, now that is a fun opportunity too. To me, the most interesting Cooper Flag teams would be I think out of the likely ones, Wizards is the most fun, I think, just because it's basically empty. And I actually think the Wizards have a little more talent people give them credit for. I think he could play off Jordan Poole quite well. Got to get a uniform redesign in there, though. And like I said, all the stuff writes itself. He's from the East Coast, Captain America, American flag, all that stuff would be fun, right? So the Wizards, out of the most likely teams to get him, would be the most fun, in my opinion. Like, I don't want to see him on the Jazz or the Hornets. I don't. DeBonsta's got to be on the Jazz. He's from Utah. Is going to college at BYU. He's built to be the Jazz guy. He's going to be the top prospect next year. He's going to BYU. Yeah, BYU might be like a top seed next year, Q, which is absurd, but it's true. Uh, anyways, and DeBonsta is like nuts. He's really good. Um, so then out of the teams that are less likely to get Cooper Flag, but it would still be really fun, Bulls are top, but Sixers right behind him. The Sixers would be kind of fun.
Had a better chance to get
They have a better chance right now. But
get the number one.
now I
Yep.
will say there
Uh-oh.
is one scenario that
Right.
I would love, but I must say is pretty evil.
Okay.
The San Antonio Spurs get Cooper Flag, and they pair him with Victor
Mm.
Wembanyama, and they get
Mm.
the best prospect of the last, well, probably since LeBron, Victor Wembanyama, and then Cooper Flagg, who is probably in the top five best prospects since 2000. So that would be pretty nice. But I honestly think that might not be good, though. I actually think, as fun as that would be as a guy who likes Wemby and a guy who, I've becoming a Cooper Flag fan quite quickly, as I'm sure most people watching Mark Madness are. I actually don't know if it would really be good for the NBA to have two guys that could potentially both be equally popular and both very good on the same team. Just from like a fun, you know what I mean, Q? Like on paper, that's crazy, right? But like it might
But
not
if
be
it
as fun as I
happens,
think.
is it going
Yeah,
to
it
be
might not
fair?
be as fun as I think, because then it's like, I don't know. It might be more fun to watch them have their own teams go against each other.
I just want to say that the Spurs right now have the eighth worst record. So
Doable,
chances, slim chances
some chance.
to get there.
Better than the Bulls.
Better than the Bulls. Exactly. Exactly. Okay. I will, on the Duke Houston matchup. This Duke team, what's interesting, well, first of all, I will say is that Cooper Flag gets a one up on Zion Williamson because they did make the Final Four.
I think he's better than Zion.
Star studded. I'm not even comparing skills, just the results of the tournament. Both star studded freshman classes
This
here.
team is better
All
built than
that.
that Duke team, though. That Duke team with Zion was really good, but they didn't have as much depth. It was just the starting five, really.
No, yes, I agree. Not in much
They are
depth.
really good starting five,
I'm
but
going to
not a
say it
lot of
this
depth.
way. I think 2019 that team was higher talent but low depth.
Yes.
I'm going to say that this current team's more like here. So it's balanced more.
And I actually should say,
Not as
I
bad.
said Cooper Flag's better than Zion. I have to take that back. Zion in college was the most
Good.
absurd shit I've ever seen.
He
He was
was.
nuts.
He
There
just
were
couldn't.
people, there were grown men at my church that were like, "You gonna watch Zion tonight?" And I was like, You watch college basketball?" Like they were older dudes, and they were like, like you watching college basketball?" I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I'm watching Zion tonight, baby. Let's go." Like as much as I like Cooper Flag, he has not had that effect. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Zion in college was the most hyped prospect I've ever seen in college. Like Cooper Flag is getting hyped. I don't think his hype is actually
Right.
broken the Zion level hype. I remember the 2019 NBA draft queue watching it. And I was sitting there with my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, watch this. I said, the pre-draft package, count how many times they show every prospect, and then count how many times they showed Zion. If you added everyone else's appearances up, it was half Zion's.
Yep. Sounds
Like,
about right.
he was the entire marketing for the 2019 NBA.
Yes. Yes.
Because
Easily.
at the time, it was everyone in America wanted to watch this guy play basketball.
Yes. Yeah.
So, no, as much as I like Cooper Flag, Zion was probably better in college and was more hyped up at least. Now, granted, if Cooper Flag is an incredible Final Four and they win the national championship, I think you got to put him top.
His stock rises. Yes. Back to the matchup, though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry.
I like Houston's defense. I like Houston's matchup. I like how their offense flows.
Well, Coach Sampson's had them around here for a long time. This is what their
Yes.
third straight year being a one seed. Like they've been
Yes.
a top team
I
for a
really
long
like
time here.
Kelvin Sampson. I believe if he would win, he would be the oldest coach to win the title, I believe,
Ever?
ever.
Wow. How old is he?
69 for his first title. First title.
I understand now.
But it might just be ever. I believe it's ever. For oldest coach ever to
I will
win.
check you while you talk.
I believe that's what it is. So in the end, the final four. Well, first, the Cougars had to weather the home crowd of Purdue and Indianapolis for the Sweet 16.
You are correct,
Now they're going
by the
home.
way. You are correct.
Ever?
Yep. Calhoun is the oldest right now at 68.
Yep, that's what I was trying to recall. And then because the other ones that made the Final Four or older were Boeheim and Krzyzewski. And then they weathered the storm in Indianapolis and they're going back home to San Antonio, a few hours away in the Texas Triangle of metropolises. And I believe that Houston, with the home crowd there, is going to beat the Duke Blue Devils and they'll be in the national title game.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The way you sold that makes it sound right. Because it always seems like we get to this Final Four and there's the matchup you think it's gonna be, and then
Hmm.
it's not that. Because I
Hmm.
think the matchup most people would bet on is Florida Duke.
Yep.
I'm willing to bet if we pull up the odds right now, that's the most bet matchup out of the possibilities.
And I'm going to add that Houston, excuse me, has Nance Magic, baby. Nance Magic. You've heard of Fitz Magic? Well, this is Nance Magic. Jim Nance on the sidelines, not calling the game, and he even got in the picture as they won their Elite Eight contest with the regional title. So I think Jim Nance obviously is going to be there, his alma mater, and I think that that's going to be the end of the deal. And I anticipate seeing a Florida Houston matchup.
Well, who do you
For
have winning it then between those two? I feel like at that point you just take Houston the whole way, right?
I hadn't thought about that yet.
Do you want me to go? You think?
Oh, I'll double down on Houston for
Okay.
now.
I figured like the way you were talking about him to me, it felt like that's what you were going.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
So, I
Okay.
mean, there you go. That's it.
Houston, your 2025 NCAA March Madness national champions.
Hmm.
I think we're going to get a really good set of Final Four games for both men's and women's. I really do. I think these are really good teams, and I'm excited. I do think Duke's going to beat Houston. I do think if there's a surprise win here, and you said, who's going to be the surprise national champion, Auburn or Houston? I know you're like, well, these are all one seeds. I think most people would say Duke and Florida are the two favorites right now. I don't have the betting odds in front of me, but I'm willing to bet those are the two right now.
Agree with that.
Auburn and Houston, I would say Houston. I just think they have good mojo right now. And they're also the one people don't talk about, which usually sometimes seem to be the ones that win the national championship.
Mhm.
But I do think I watched this Duke team and they just looked unbeatable. Like, okay, here we go. First round, they beat Mount St. Mary's by 44 points. The Baylor game is all hyped up, me included. VJ Edgecombe is going to be a top 5 pick in the NBA draft. Playing Duke, they lose by 23. They beat Arizona by 17, and it's like, oh, they're beatable. Sorry, not 17, 7. Sorry. They beat Arizona by 7, and it's like, oh, they're beatable. Nope, they blast Alabama by 20, and Tyrese Proctor can't miss a shot. A player that was barely talked about going into the tournament for them.
Right. Right.
Like Knuppel genuinely was like more talked about. Knuppel's good for what it's worth.
He's an interesting one.
I just I just think I'm looking at it against Houston. And unless Duke, everything I've seen to this point has made me think this Duke team is the best team in the in college basketball. They have the best player and they have the best team, and it's very rare that both those things happen. The only team I think is maybe better is Florida. So I'm going to take Duke to beat Houston, and that gives me a Florida Duke national championship. Now I must be honest, this is the national championship I want to see the most. I think it's gonna be really fun.
You want to see that the most?
I do. I think it's really fun if Cooper Flag's the national championship. My only piece is this. This Florida team has Team of Destiny all over it. So we got Team of Destiny versus best player, best team.
Hmm.
Do I believe in destiny or do I believe in talent? You know I believe in destiny, baby. So I'm taking Florida to beat Duke in the
You're letting your
2025
heart.
national championship.
You're letting your heart take the choice over your mind.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I went to high school prom 3 times. I got a big heart.
Oh boy.
Couldn't go the first year because of COVID.
This is the first one.
My freshman year.
Well, yeah.
Oh, so then the second year I went as a sophomore and then I went as a junior and senior.
Yeah, you want to went to five. You did go to five. You
I,
went
I
to
no, I went to 4 technically because my 8th grade year I filmed it for the PNN. I filmed it for school news.
yeah, but didn't you go? Oh, you didn't go back last year.
Oh, I did. I went to 5,
Four.
baby.
Well, five with
Well,
your little
4, but we can count that one
Alabama.
just so my stats are crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and
you're
I'm
right. There we
already
go. I
saying
mean,
super
I forgot
senior,
how big of a heart I have. I
super
might have prom.
senior, five from super senior. That's the rumor already starting.
Hey, I'm probably one of the few kids in America that went to prom as a junior high kid.
That's yeah. I
I mean, granted, I didn't dance a song. I was like the nerdy kid in the AV club from the movie in the corner filming. I remember I had one shot. It was my most proud one. I walked through the dance floor with the camera. Made for a real neat shot. Had to make sure it wasn't like a twerking song though. Had to make sure it was
well,
something a little bit
yes,
light and jumpy.
yes.
Or like 14-year-old me had to kind of maneuver. Yeah,
Um,
small school, everybody knew me. They're just like, oh, that's Ryan. He's filming for PNN. Filming for the school news.
man.
Yeah, good
Um,
point. There we go. Five. Forgot about that. It's a good call, Q.
um,
Big heart, believe in destiny, baby.
oh, okay. Um, well, let's flip over to the women's side. So, because we've had it been going on for about an hour and we're not only halfway through our scheduled program, but
I know, but the thing is, we did a lot of NBA talk,
we
and
did,
like the
and the people love it.
WNBA draft. I I just think wherever Becker's go, I don't. Does the WNBA draft do a lottery?
I don't believe so.
Okay, well then the Dallas Wings have the number one pick, and they'll be taking Paige Beckers.
Yeah.
I mean that's congratulations, Dallas. You lost Luka Doncic, but you gained Paige Beckers. And honestly, the Mavericks would probably be better off if she could possibly play for both teams.
Okay.
Did I ever
I,
tell you about that last
hold
year? It
on.
was pretty funny. The
Gotta
Pistons
be
were so bad
corrected.
last year, people were saying that they should just draft Caitlin Clark at this point.
We got to correct this. They do
Why?
have a draft lottery. It's the four worst teams.
So those were what? The
Those
Wings.
are Dallas Wings, the Los Angeles Sparks, Chicago Sky, and Washington Mystics.
Oh my gosh, Quinn. If the Sparks win, they could have Cameron Brink and Paige Beckers.
Right, but Brink's coming back from injury.
It should be fine. And the Sky win, they could have Angel Reese and Paige Beckers.
Right.
I
That
would
change.
love to see the Sparks win. That would be a really fun team. Her and Brink, Stanford and UConn.
Yep.
That would be awesome. What would you like to see the most? We're Becker backers. We have a say in this.
I will say I don't even and I'm sorry as my obviously my yawns are creeping in here. Um I will say even with the Caitlin Clark flurry last year, the WNBA, I didn't watch any WNBA. So like I watch no NBA. I'd rather watch college. So
I get it.
I
I get
can't
it.
I can't say of where, I want Paige Beckers to land at this moment. So uh, I just hope that she can bring home the championship for Connecticut, just to foreshadow a little bit there.
Let's get into that. Let's start off on the other side. We got South Carolina, Texas. I think this South Carolina team kind of put away a lot of people's fears about them with their win over Duke. I think Duke is a program that is going to win a national championship in the next 5 years. They're really building something special over there for the women's.
And I like Carol Lawson.
Yeah, I think it's a really, really good program. But I think South Carolina is going to beat Texas, but I haven't been high on Texas this whole tournament. I honestly am kind of surprised they survived against TCU, but they did.
I will say well, first of all, in my bracket, I picked three of the four Final Four teams.
I
T-
also went 3 for 4.
TCU was the only one that disappointed me.
Same here. We had the same Final Four, except the national championship is different because I have UConn over South Carolina,
You do.
and I wonder if that's what I'll stay with.
Hmm. And I had UCLA over TCU.
Hmm. So now what do you do? What do you got, South Carolina, Texas? What do you got?
It's difficult.
I know.
I don't know, as in,
Texas would be the surprise team, I think, out of these four. If you were going to say surprise team to win the national championship, I think that's the one. Even though they're a 1 seed, I think it would be the most surprising.
this is the thing. I have bet against Texas multiple times because
I know.
offensively they're terrible,
Yep.
as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
But somehow Rory Harmon and Madison Booker get it together, and
Hmm.
Vic Schaefer leads them to the promised land. I think more of what we should be doing is taking bets on whether Matthew McConaughey is going to be at this game on Friday.
I think
So
he will.
I'm going to take the Longhorns over the
You think
Gamecocks.
McConaughey's going to be there?
Well, why wouldn't he be there?
All right, all right, all right,
He's Texas's biggest backer.
all right.
So,
I'm a
uh,
Becker backer.
that's right. That's what your bracket is named.
Big Becker backer.
I was trying to see. I was gonna try and look up and see how they played in the regular season.
All right,
SEC.
well, are you taking UConn or UCLA? Because I'm taking UConn. I don't care if this UCLA team is probably the best top to bottom team. I just believe in UConn. Okay. I believe in Gino. I believe in Beckers. I believe in Fudd. I think this is a good team. I think is better than last year's team, which was already a good team. I don't care that UCLA is probably the best top to bottom roster.
I want to add some context that South Carolina and Texas have already played twice before.
Mhm.
Texas won the first one by 4. South Carolina won the last one by 19. So there's
Ooh.
your context there.
Mm.
Um, again, it's the heart versus mind. It's the heart versus head question.
Yeah, man.
My heart says Connecticut, but my head says UCLA.
Listen to your heart when it's calling to you. You don't know where you're going. I don't know
Okay,
the rest of the words.
Roxanne.
I don't know the rest of the words. What's up?
Is it Rox? It's Roxanne.
Is it
No,
Roxanne? What
it's
is it?
Rox.
Okay.
Hold on.
Like the
Huh?
police?
No, that
I'm
is
messing with
not
you. I'm
by the
messing with you. I know.
police.
I know. I'm messing with you. I just did it to mess with you.
Roxette. I was right
Roxette.
the first time, as I was trying to say. Roxanne is by the police. Roxette, the band. But anyway, Swedish rock band there for Listen to Your Heart. Um, I'm sticking with the Bruins. They're my national champion I picked in the beginning. I'm just gonna stick with them to beat Connecticut, and I'm gonna stick with them to beat the Texas Longhorns in the national title on Sunday.
All right. Well, Huskies take down the Bruins. Huskies take care of the Gamecocks. Huskies for the national championship. Paige Beckers gets to go to the WNBA with a national title next to her name. So props to her.
I just want to say for our fans at home that Gino Ariema is going to his 24th 2-4 Final Four.
Yep.
Fourth, which is unbelievable. And I was thinking about this as I was watching Tennessee blow it to Texas this weekend because I had Tennessee beating Texas in the Sweet 16 because Tennessee had lost them by 4 in the regular season. But I was thinking about how, you know, where would Tennessee be if Pat Summitt was still here? And if Pat Summitt was still here, she would be 72, just a year older than Gino Ariema. And to see what that rivalry would have entailed and evolved to today if she would have not um, passed away well, first forced to retire medically
Mhm.
because of early onset Alzheimer's. So that's what's interesting. Kim Caldwell, I think, has done a great job of
Mhm.
putting them back up and building the program. So we'll see how she goes on in the future. And
No, I think it's a really good point.
and I figured obviously it well, what's interesting is that they didn't hire one of their own because typically Tennessee has hired one of their own after uh uh Pat left. So they hired 2 people that played under her, I believe. Um and hired somebody from the outside, but um so we'll see what happens this week on Friday. Obviously Friday night is the women's. We switch now. The women's are now a day ahead instead of the men. So it's Texas UCLA for me, and
I
can't wait
got
for both
I
games.
got what I predicted at the beginning of the tournament. UConn over South Carolina. Can we do a quick 2 minutes about we talked about the other day? Women's national championship being at 3 o'clock on Sundays.
Yeah.
No, no. What I would like to do is I would like to make it. How can we maneuver this? that the men and the women both have national championship on the same day, and you play one at 7 or like one at 6 and then one at 9. Because I think that's the ideal scenario. And you alternate. I mean, you don't even have to alternate
Hard to play
times,
that
really.
game. Well, it's hard to play that game at 6 on a weeknight because of the West Coast.
You're
Because
saying
it
Sunday night at 6?
Sunday at 6 would be
That's
fine.
what I'm saying. Okay, so look, women's Final Four is Thursday, right?
Friday, but
Sorry,
yes.
Friday. Yeah, sorry, Friday. And then championship Sunday. Men's Final Four is Saturday. Championship Monday, right?
Yes.
Okay. Monday night for the national championship sucks. It sucks. Why aren't we Sunday night?
Look, here's the thing. Okay.
What are we
Why
doing?
did these change anyway? Really, it should be Thursday night is the final four for the men's, and they play Saturday, and the
Hmm.
women's can still play Friday and Sunday.
That's fine, but it needs to be a Sunday night game. Why is this an
Yeah,
afternoon
I
game?
agree with that. Yes. And that's why we had
Or
reason.
I get they don't want to do Final Four on a Thursday. They want to make it on the weekends and get people there. Money. I understand this. Why not do Friday, Final Four, men's and women's? You do 4 games. I am 100% sure you'll still make money. I'm 100% sure the people that are attending the women's Final Four
Oh,
and the
now
men's
your
Final.
viewership is torn.
No, it's not. You go one game, one game, one game, one game. You alternate back and forth, men's and women's. They would help each
Starting
other.
that first game then.
What?
How are you starting that first game?
It's got to be at 3 o'clock.
That's not going to work then. They're not going to do that.
3 o'clock, 5:30,
Can't do it.
7, 9:30.
Can't do it. Not enough
Why
money.
not?
Money. They need the prime time slots. They
Well,
need the
apparently not for the national championship.
on the women's side. For the men's, they're in prime time.
The men would be. You do the fine if they're going to be that way. Make the women's game 3 o'clock. Put the men's game at 5:30. Women's game at, or you could do fine. Do back-to-back women's games. If you must have the men's in the time slot, you do
No,
7 and
well,
9:30 for the men's. You do the two
no,
women's
no,
games.
no, 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 no. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying what I'm saying is that whoever's playing that 3 o'clock game, even the five game, it's too early. It's too early. It's got to be at later. All those games have to be later.
Okay, but if they're fine with
Final
putting the
four
national championship
structure,
at
the
3 o'clock,
final four structure is fine how it is, as in the times. So women are playing at 7 and 9, and the men are playing at 6:09 and 8:49. That's what I'm going to guess. Okay.
I would like to have both
But
national championships on the same day. It is National Championship
that's
Sunday. You watch both. That would be awesome.
not gonna happen. It's not
Why?
gonna happen.
Why?
It's not because the NCAA doesn't want that to happen. They're gonna want money in separate days. They want separate
Fine. We'll
contracts.
put the women's game at night. It's stupid that it's an
That's what it
afternoon
is. That's what
game.
it should be. The women's game has only been at night once in the last 5 years, and that was Connecticut, South Carolina. So I don't know why they think it's a great idea. They played it at 1 o'clock once. They've played it at 3 o'clock the last 2 years. I don't know why they think it's a great idea to do it in the middle of the afternoon, but they do it anyway,
Bad.
and it's a bad move because on Sunday night you can get away with a 6 o'clock start
Hmm.
because it's the weekend and most people are, eating around that time. You can even probably do a 7 o'clock
That's the
start.
Sunday night football. That's
That's
football night in America starts what,
8:20,
6:30?
8:20,
No, football night in America. The pregame show to Sunday Night Football.
7.
That's 7. Okay. Football night in America starts at 7. You get Sunday Night Football about 8, what, 8:20 you said? That's like, if I'm March Madness, I want to slide right in there. That's perfect for me.
Right. I mean, you could do a 7. You could do a pregame at 6:30 or at 6 or 6:30.
I am willing to bet, as a massive cable fan, if we ran the numbers and we said, when is every home in America tuning into TV the most often? I'm willing to bet Sunday between 6 to 9 range is one of the biggest 3 hour periods in which Americans are watching television.
I think so.
I'm willing to bet that's true.
I'm sure there's some research to back it up.
I'm sure there is. And so why are you not putting that game on? Because
Call Charlie Baker.
will he answer?
I don't know. He answered to the people of Massachusetts twice when he was governor there. A Republican governor of Massachusetts that had a
That was
70%
an
approval
excellent response, Quinn. I have to hand it to you.
of that.
That was good. I just lobbed it up for you. I didn't even realize that how perfect of an answer that you had prepared.
Oh, I'm off the cuff, baby.
All right. That was our 2 minutes. It's probably like 5, but yeah. thought we'd do a quick little piece there about the women's. It's just dumb with the time. It should be a night game. It's really dumb. I hate national championship on Monday, and I hate national championship on Monday for college football too. It should be Saturday. Should be a Saturday game, but whatever. College football is Saturdays. It needs to
College
be on a
football will
Saturday.
figure that out. I don't know what they need to. Yeah, they'll figure that out.
All right, Q, is that it?
That's all I have for this evening for
All
now.
right. Well, everybody enjoy the Final Four. I have Florida over Duke. Quinn has Houston over Florida. For the women's, you have UCLA over Texas, and I have UConn over South Carolina. That is it from us. Quinn,
Yep.
we will see you again next week, and we'll be able to discuss who was
Husky.
right and who was wrong.
Because I picked UCLA doesn't mean I'm not rooting on my Huskies. Go Huskies.
There we go. See, I chose the heart. You chose the mind. We will see what wins in the battle of
That's
wits.
right.
There we
We
go.
will. We
And what is
definitely.
it? What one man enters, the other one leaves to go watch Jeopardy? Remember when we used to run the segment? You'd say one man enters, the other one leaves too, and then you'd make up a little piece.
Oh yes, my little yes,
I always enjoyed that.
yes. Yep, my little PTI phrases that I incorporated. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Those are always fun on the big salad. But all right. That's it, Q. Thank you.